with gossip that there should be a coup d'etat. It is in effect an attack against President Aquino. But I have intelligence as of yesterday that leaders of certain alphabet soup acronyms who are familiar with the public had a recent meeting because they wanted to discuss how to stage a coup d'etat, who should be installed as president, and even their contributors were there. I am sure that the NDR is aware of this development. What steps are DND taking to avoid a coup d'etat? Because no matter how bitterly I criticize President Aquino, I am a lawyer and I still remain standing behind the rule of law. If he should leave his office, let him leave it at the proper time, but not by extra legal means, such as a coup d'etat, which is a crime under the penal code. All of those planners can be arrested immediately because, like any other crime under the penal code, the crime of coup d'etat has 3 stages. Number 1, attempted. 2, frustrated. 3, consummated. So, arestuhin na sila dapat. And they're being financed by a man who the public already knows, who is a very rich man. So what is the DND doing?
Your Honor, we indeed received those reports, and we are still in the process of verifying and confirming all these reports. As far as coup d'etat is concerned, it will entail the support of the military, and we are very confident that the military will not be involved in this coup d'etat, Your Honor.
You and I know who these people are. They've been engaging in this cottage industry for many years in our country. It's time they were put to a stop and they learned their lesson. I will now go to another subject matter, Mr. Secretary. The Department of National Defense includes the Anti-Terrorism Council created under the Human Security Act of 2007. It is headed by the Executive Secretary as chair, the Secretary of Justice as the vice chair, and includes the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, the Secretary of National Defense, the Secretary of the Interior and Local Government, the Secretary of Finance, and the National Security Advisor. The law specifically states that, quote, the Anti-Terrorism Council shall implement this act and assume the responsibility for the proper and effective implementation of the anti-terrorism policy of the country. And there are many other provisions on the same tenor. My question is very simple. In all the reports that we hear, both here in the Senate hearing and from the media and around us, there's never any mention of the Anti-Terrorism Council. Did it play any part at all in this operation we're talking about? And if not, why not? Sabi ng batas, yan ang trabaho eh. Basta may anti-terrorism movement, dapat yan under the control and supervision immediately ng Anti-Terrorism Council. It's headed by the Executive Secretary and it is composed of various cabinet members. Eh bakit wala tayong naririnig tungkol sa Anti-Terrorism Council? Bakit ito lang si General Da Peñas ang naririnig natin?
Your Honor, can I refer the question to Undersecretary Ikarma?
O, Undersecretary Ikarma nung sagot mo.
We
Although I
don't-
know that Anti-Terrorism Council is under the Department of National Defense. Ba't wala kayong kakibo-kibo?
With all due respect to Your Honor, I was about to answer, but the Anti-Terrorism Council is in charge of formulating...
I already explained why. Just answer me.
Ma'am, we
Answer
do
the
not-
question because I only have 5 minutes. I'm already gasping for breath.
If you will allow me, ma'am, please.
Oh,
Okay. The Anti-Terrorism Council does not involve itself in the operational aspect of anti-terrorism.
ganon. Di po upo lang kayo
No, ma'am.
salita lang kayo, di papel-papel lang kayo.
No, ma'am. We give the guidelines on how our forces will counter terror, ma'am. But we do not involve ourselves in the day-to-day tactical or operational details.
Well, not day to day, but still you must have had some participation because the law, for your information, says that the functions of the council are, and I selectively enumerate, formulate and adapt
Exactly, ma'am.
plans, programs, and countermeasures, etc. Coordinate all national efforts Number 4, establish and maintain comprehensive database information. Bakit walang ka-support-support sila General na Peñas? Number 6, even grant monetary rewards. So we can fiddle about what these words mean, but the thing is that the Anti-Terrorism Council participation is nil, N-O-0, zip,
I
in
do
our
not believe so,
investigation.
ma'am.
I'm done with you. General Alan Purisima,
Yes, Your Honor.
you're placed on preventive suspension on December 19, 2014. Suspension is defined by the Law Dictionary as, quote, the temporary deprivation of a person's powers or privileges, especially public officers. Hindi lang powers ang nakat off or ang functions, pati pang privileges. Kaya kung tuusin, nung period of preventive suspension, you should not even have been allowed to live in the White House. And yet you continue to participate in preparations for a law enforcement activity. Therefore, sir, I humbly call to your attention. In jurisprudence, you overstepped your limits. You're on preventive suspension. For example, in the 2009 case of Aldovino versus Comelec, the Supreme Court held, and I quote, in all cases of preventive suspension, the suspended official is barred from performing the functions of his office. You perform the functions of your office, albeit in a surreptitious manner, and then you say that you were not violating your period, the terms of your preventive suspension. That is amphiboly. You're using words to confuse the person listening to you. Nakialam ka eh. I also add that you were placed in preventive suspension by the Ombudsman under the Ombudsman Act, which provides that the Ombudsman may preventively suspend any officer if in the Ombudsman's judgment the evidence of guilt is strong. In sum, it appears that you have gone against the ruling of the Supreme Court and that the Ombudsman considers the evidence of guilt is strong in the plunder case filed against you. But I insist on the more important question, what made you violate the terms of your preventive suspension? Normally, kung preventive suspension ka, hindi ka pupunta sa office mo. You don't even call your colleagues. You just sit there quietly. And then when it's time for you to report back to office, then you go as commanded. Pero ikaw, masyado kang busy eh. Preventively suspended ka, masyado kang maraming kinakausap. At tungkol pa naman sa official and military operation. So what made you do that when you were under preventive suspension? And don't play words with me. Words are my livelihood.
Your Honor, when the law enforcement operation of PSAP was approved by me prior to my suspension, I have already delegated the command and control
We
and
know
supervision.
that. Answer the question. You're under preventive suspension and yet you were still dipping your finger in the pie. You were participating in none of your business at that time. You were preventively suspended, remember?
Your Honor, when I made remarks regarding what was it been taken by Police Director Napeñas, it was mere an advice, Your Honor.
So don't quibble with me. I told you I've memorized Black's Law Dictionary. I only advised. I did not order. Really? Buti sana kung wala akong doctorate o hindi ako nag-graduate sa UP. Mas malas natin, I did both.
Your Honor, my intention was
Bakit ka
advice.
salita ng salita? Ba't hindi ka na nahimik sa estate mo sa Nueva Ecija? Under preventive suspension kayo, nakikialam ka sa biro mo. 40 tao ang namatay. At kasali ka doon. Kung hindi ka siguro nakisali doon, baka buhay pa sila.
Your Honor, when I delegated the responsibility, I did not delegate the accountability.
So, aren't you ashamed of yourself? Saying I delegated the responsibility but did not delegate. I delegated the authority but did not delegate the responsibility or some such words. You should hear yourself talk.
The
Hindi
accountability.
pwede sa akin yan. I was an RTC judge, just to remind you.
Yes.
And I received several awards for my performance in the judiciary. So that does not play with me. It's not going to play in Peoria or in the Philippines. Ito ang tagutin mo. During the period you have been serving out your preventive suspension, how many times did you talk with President Aquino about Oplan Exodus? Nung panahon na preventively suspended ka, ilang beses mo nakausap si Presidente Aquino tungkol sa impending operation?
Once, Your Honor.
Once. Tama na yun sa iyo. Minsan lang, alam mo na lahat. Next question. You are privy to the preparation for Oplan Exodus. Therefore, you would necessarily know who was the person in charge of the operation above the level of the staff commander. Hindi man pwedeng staff commander lang ang in charge. Meron person on top of him. He is not the commander-in-chief of the Philippines under the Constitution. Merong tao siya. Meron tayong staff commander dito. Meron siyang dapat the chief of the PNP. But you were preventively suspended. And then, your substitute, who was the acting chief of the PNP, was purposely kept out of the loop of information. So he was absolutely kept out together with the Secretary of Interior and Local Government. Kaya, sino ngayon ang nagre-report? Kanino siya ngayon nag-report?
Your
Who was
Honor,
the person
Your Honor,
above the level of the staff commander? Ikaw?
no, Your Honor.
Mukhang ikaw eh.
I have already delegated, Your Honor.
Si President Aquino. Dalawa lang naman kayo eh.
No, Your Honor. I have already
Sino ngayon
delegated.
who was the person who was responsible above the level of the staff commander? Sino?
Your Honor,
Dahil eliminate na lahat eh.
when the delegation of authority, Your Honor, was given,
Oh.
it was already the call of the staff commander to perform the
Lahat na lang
operation.
ituro niyo, staff commander. 44 men are dead and you're all pointing fingers to the staff commander. Common sense dictates. Sentido común na lang ho ito eh. Hindi naman siya ang pinakamataas eh. Sino mas mataas sa kanya? Ang chief ng PNP, ikaw, pero preventively suspended ka. Tapos yung kapalit mo na the acting chief, hindi ayaw ninyong sabihan. Wala siyang kaalam-alam. Kaya sino lang nakaalam? Si President Aquino at ikaw.
That is why,
Saka
Your
sina Peñas.
That is why, Your Honor, I am held accountable of the operation. That's why I resigned, Your Honor.
Ay, sus, maniwala naman ako. Did President Aquino himself give the direct order for Oplan Exodus to begin? And don't give me the song and dance about, matagal na kasi ito, so I did not have to order them. They just acted on their own. So wala akong pakialam doon. Answer the question. Was it President Aquino who told you? You were preventively suspended. On your own, you meddled in something that was no longer none of your business.
No, Your Honor.
O how do you say in Tagalog? Sino nag-engganyo sa iyo? Makiasalam ka. Sino nag-udyok sa iyo?
It is the delegated authority, Your Honor, has
You're always
already...
returning to delegated authority. I do not accept it. Next question. In advising General Napeñas not to tell Secretary Rojas and General Espina about the start of Oplan Exodus, was there a problem of trust with these two officials? Wala ba kayong tiwala kay Rojas at kay Espina? Hindi kasi maintindihan eh. Ito ay PNP operation. Ang PNP under sa Secretary of Information and the Secretary of Interior and Local Government. Bakit ang pinaka-leader ninyo ayaw ninyong pagsabihan tungkol sa operation na lawfully fell under his jurisdiction? Bakit wala kayong tiwala sa kanya?
Meron po kaming tiwala, Your Honor, with the OIC of the OIC PNP and the Secretary of Interior and Local Government. However, Your Honor, in the design of the plan of PNP staff, it stated that everybody will be informed time on target.
Ay, time on target, hindi naman sila sundalo, natatakbo sila doon. Time on target, yung ginagamit mo yan during the theater of war. When there's a war going on or a battle or some such armed clashes.
Your Honor, may I
We're
explain?
talking about civilian eh.
Your Honor, may I explain time on target is
No,
parlance?
I understand what it is. Thank you.